Tell me if this sounds familiar. You have a plan to start something or up-level something, and you decide, to tweak your diet or your exercise or your savings plan or your writing or art-making practice. Or maybe to back off a little bit on something, limit fast food or Diet Coke or wine. Or maybe you're playing along at home, minding your own business, vegging your best by limiting animal products and adding in some extra plants every meal or so. And then one day, it happens. One day, a question pops into your brain or comes out of a loved one's mouth. Is that enough? Is it enough? Today, we're talking about the E word and why I've had enough of it. Hello, Vedge Heads, Veg Your Besties. Welcome back to Veg Your Best, the plant-based podcast. My name's Michele Olander. I'm a certified life coach, a practicing vegan, and I'm here every single week encouraging you to eat more plants and challenge yourself to set an impossible goal. Episode 66 today, Enough with Enough. So, I think this word, the E word, is among the most pernicious ideas that float through our consciousness. Enough. I mean, what is it? What does it mean? I consider it to be the sliding goalpost of concepts because, honestly, it means nothing. But it sounds like it means something, right? What even is enough? There's enough when you're new or you're unpracticed. That might not be enough later on down the line because enough doesn't objectively mean anything. But it's a word that your brain, if it's anything like mine, will trot out now and then to keep you from doing what you really, really want, or to keep you from evolving and growing. Enough. It sounds sort of harmless, maybe even positive, but I think it always hides in it the concept of not enough. So the E word is one I am always trying to expunge from my clients' vocabularies. Honestly, I'm also working on my own. Enough, because it's a word for most of us, me included, inside our brains on certain topics that just sometimes seems true. It seems to be a valid concept. Healthy enough, loved enough money, enough options, enough choices, enough freedom. But there's always that sting in the tail. Yes, we want enough, but it carries around that continual sliding judgment of, yeah, but it could be not enough. If you're training for a 5K, say, or a marathon, you don't start by running 5K or 26 miles. You just do the first run on your plan. And maybe that first run is actually a walk. Is it enough? And when you're writing a book, maybe you start with, a table of contents or a character sketch or a plot outline. Or maybe you even start with chapter 1. Is that enough? And when you're going for your university degree, maybe you start by signing up for the courses that are required or doing the prerequisite coursework that allows you to get permission from the instructor to take those essential courses. Is that enough? Listen, we need to stay in the workout we're in, right? The training run that we're in, the mile we're in, the chapter or paragraph or sentence we're in, the course we're in. And when we start to take our focus off the task at hand, and we start wondering if it's enough, if it's worth it, if you can do it, well, the answer is always and only, it's up to you. Is it enough? Probably, maybe not, probably not, yes, no. Completely unhelpful question. Is it enough? If you're training for a marathon, you're not maybe running the marathon today, you're running this 1 mile. And if you're not running the 5K today, right now, maybe what you're doing is getting off the couch or walking briskly. I'm not writing the book today, I'm writing the page. I'm not getting my degree today, I'm reading the assignment or going to the lecture. Is it enough? Is it? Is it worth it? Can you do it? Last week we talked about quitting, and a few of you reached out to tell me almost immediately that the topic of quitting resonated with you. So if you didn't hear that episode, last week it was number 65. Give it a listen. The title was Quitting is an Option, but it won't speed things up. Because I know from both personal and professional experience that most of us judge ourselves very, very harshly for quitting or even wanting to quit. And why? Why? Because if you've chosen any challenge or goal worthy of your precious time here on planet Earth, yeah, you're going to want to quit from time to time. Periodically, maybe frequently, maybe very frequently. So what if instead of thinking that wanting to quit is a problem, what if instead we were actually a little bit proud of it? As in, hey, look at me, woohoo, it's Tuesday, 1 o'clock, I want to quit. What if that was just absolutely normal and not a problem? And not only that, not only is wanting to quit not a problem, I think it might actually be a sign that you're on the right track. So that is what last week's podcast was about, and apparently that hit a few of you. So if you're still hanging with me on this, you've got a challenge. You've got a goal that is, challenging, and you're tempted to quit. Yeah, maybe there's another choice. Maybe you could quit, or maybe you could keep going, but maybe break it down a little, go a little slower, move a little more gradually, a little more scaled back. You could just run the next 30 seconds or 10 seconds. You could just write the next paragraph or the next sentence. You could just open the textbook or look at the syllabus. And by the way, pro tip for students, the syllabus is the key to success. When in doubt, pull out the syllabus and ask yourself, what is your professor communicating with you about through the power of the syllabus? You're welcome. But one of the most common reasons I hear my clients tell me that they want to quit is that they're thinking what they're doing is not enough. The concept of enough. It's what a lot of us use as a reason to quit or postpone our dreams. Because maybe the way we have been approaching the challenge or the goal is not working the way we imagined. Maybe it's not working consistently. Maybe it's not working sufficiently. Maybe it's harder than we thought. Maybe it's taking longer than we hoped. Maybe it's more uncomfortable than we were prepared for. And our brain tells us that we could set up one of those minimum baselines that we've discussed here on the podcast many times before. A minimum baseline to break that goal, that plateau, that part that's not going so smoothly into some smaller bites. Or we could change our time frame. But our brain starts to argue, is that enough? Somehow our brains think that just showing up and doing things a little slower and a little less perfectly is not enough. But you're going to have to help me here. What is enough? Vedge Heads, Vedge Your Besties, I'm going to want to remind you what the name of the podcast is. Vedge Your Best. I don't know when you are going to be sufficiently vegetarian or vegan or whole food, plant-based enough. I don't know. We live in a world where how we eat, the animals we eat or don't eat, the products we choose or refuse, these are just one aspect of the way we show up on this planet. And I think it's important. I think it's important enough that helping people believe that they can limit or eliminate the consumption of animal products, that's the primary focus of my daily work. It's the focus of my choices and my purchases. So yeah, I'm pretty committed. But if you ask me, is just limiting the number of animal products I eat per week enough? If you ask, are meatless Mondays enough? Is replacing cow milk with oat milk enough? Enough for what? I promise you, some folks will say, no, it is objectively not enough. But what is enough? And how do we move towards our idea of enough? If you believe that there is anything called enough, you don't get there by quitting. And you don't get better at it by giving up. We've all heard it. Anyone who's ever taken on a big goal or who has tried to change something or made a choice that's different, enough is when you decide it's enough. If you eat meat and dairy and eggs at virtually every meal, is it enough to cut back? Well, you have to tell me, what's the alternative? Not cut back? And if you no longer eat meat and chicken, but you still eat eggs and cow milk sometimes, is that enough? Is it enough to no longer eat any animal products, but eat loads of processed junk food that happens to be vegan? Or is it enough to eat vegan and whole food plant-based and organic and patronize your local farmers, but still buy leather furniture? Is that enough? The word vegan is, to my mind, an ideal. It's an ideal and an aspiration to which we can always aim to get closer to. And how? By a continued practice. I mean, I no longer knowingly consume or purchase animal products, but I still keep and use some of the products that are in my home or were purchased in years past. Is that enough? Maybe. Maybe not. But what's the alternative? To say forget it? If you grew up in a Christian tradition, there may be an analogy here. Are you ever Christian enough? Or is Christian an ideal that you could use to inspire you? Are you ever a perfect Christian, or are you always essentially a practicing Christian? And my guess is, though I would not speak to them, that there are similar analogies for people who identify with other religious traditions. What is religious enough? What's observant enough? Vegan is both an ideal and a practice. And if you're having a hard time limiting or eliminating your consumption of animal products, it's not surprising, right? Look around you. We are surrounded by a culture and an economy that mostly have very little interest in helping you move towards veganism. But if you've walked through the supermarket lately, you can see that choices matter. Some things are changing. Is it enough? Is it enough? I don't know. Maybe not. But what is the alternative? And I promise you that practice is the way. Through practice, you will retrain your taste buds. You will start to prefer plant-based foods. Through practice, you get the opportunity to lower your cholesterol. Through practice, you get to opt out of supporting a cruel and agonizing industry that brutalizes not just the animals, but the human beings that are employed. Through practice, you can start to move your purchasing power towards companies and farms and industries that use less water and create fewer greenhouse gases. There's honestly no end to what a regular and even imperfect practice of veganism can accomplish. And is it enough? There will always be more to know, to learn, to teach, to create. And as we move further along down this line, I promise you, we will learn things we don't know anything about yet. And I promise you also that you'll hear this word from both sides of the aisle. Some vegans may condemn you or me for not being vegan enough and not doing enough. Others may ridicule you and me, that it doesn't make any difference, that what you or I do isn't enough. I don't see a single good reason to ever dignify that word enough with any more energy. In my opinion, it's never a concept or an idea that spurs us on or makes us proud of what we've accomplished or overcome. Enough, it's just a sliding scale that will always end up diminishing what you've done. Whether it's running or writing or your savings plan or parenting or politics or education or your vegan practice. And for those of you who are thinking, well, okay, but if everything is enough, if there are no objective standards, if you allow everyone to just veg their best, what if their best isn't good enough? What if, in fact, their best is pretty darn poor? Well, let's talk about it. I would love you to give that idea some focus because it's not what I see. I don't see people giving up on things because they want to give up. I don't see people quitting because that's their choice or their decision. I see people quit when they don't believe they can do it. And I don't mean just eating plant-based, everything. People quit because they don't believe that they can stick with it. And I believe that if I can help keep people practicing the habits of limiting and eliminating the consumption of animal products, many of them will start to see, will start to believe that they can do it, that they can stick with it, that they can even enjoy it, and maybe realize that their only regret is that they didn't start practicing a vegan, whole food, plant-based lifestyle earlier. Because that's my only regret. Is it enough? Never. Always? I don't know. Is it enough? Enough is a pointless, useless judgment word that doesn't help anyone grow or take on a big challenge. And it certainly won't help you change the world or change your world. As a vegan and plant-based coach, it comes up for me all the time. Am I doing enough? Am I helping enough? Am I providing enough? Well, yes, no, probably, maybe not. What if it isn't enough? What's the alternative? The most radical thing I do as a coach is remind you that it's all up to you. And you can be proud of what you're doing and how you're growing, or you can beat yourself up and diminish what you're doing. As far as I'm concerned, no one's situation is improved by you denigrating yourself, least of all your situation. So if you find yourself getting trapped in this concept of enoughness, I get it. There is a part of our culture that wants most of us to stay home and just keep consuming, keep thinking we aren't powerful enough, that we aren't disciplined enough, that we simply aren't enough. But are you enough? Are you doing enough? Let's ask the person in charge, and that would be you. It's only ever up to you. Let me know if I can help. Vedge Your Best podcast production, music, and editing by Charlie Weinshank. Thanks, Charlie. Before you go, it would mean so much to me and the Vedge Your Best team if you would hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or share with someone you think might be interested. Something about algorithms, it helps bump us up a little in the rankings, and that's the best way to help others find the podcast and for us to find our audience. So, until next week, make it easy and veg your best.